Good morning, distinguished delegates. Good morning, colleagues. This is an announcement. We still have informal consultations ongoing. Therefore, please be patient. We will need some more time for a group to finish their consultations, and we will start the meeting as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, this is an announcement for the Bureau members. Please, Bureau members, please come to the podium for a brief meeting within the next couple minutes. Distinguished delegates, please take your seat. The meeting will commence in a couple minutes. Distinguished delegates, I wish you a wonderful good morning. And I would first of all apologize for the delay, but we might have some good news. you will hear in a couple minutes. But first of all, I would like to welcome you all to the 6th extraordinary meeting of the parties to the Montreal Protocol, and we declare this meeting open. Before I gavel, let me add that this is the 2nd extraordinary meeting of the parties held in this beautiful city of Bangkok, and we are very grateful to the people of and government of Thailand for the nice hospitality we received, and I'm also very grateful for the excellent preparation by the Ozone Secretariat. The first time was the 5th extraordinary meeting, which took place here in July 2022 to take a decision on the replenishment after the COVID pandemic. This 6th ExMOP is convened pursuant to decision 37/21 adopted by the 30th meeting, so the 7th meeting of the parties, which authorized the Secretariat to organize an extraordinary meeting during the 48th meeting of the open-ended working group, which was opened yesterday. In accordance with that decision, the purpose of this meeting is to enable parties to take a decision on the outstanding membership of the Implementation Committee for 2026. Before we move into the agenda, allow me a couple of personal remarks for the opening of this meeting. Last meeting of the parties in Nairobi, I have been elected president of this body for a 2nd time, and you have entrusted me with this challenging task. At that time, I couldn't know how challenging it would be, and I humbly accept it. Over the past years, and I have to say already those are decades, I have chaired a great number of extremely difficult meetings, in particular the negotiations that eventually led to the adoption of the Kigali Amendment. In many hours of difficult negotiations, parties managed to reach agreement despite conflicting views and contrary, sometimes opposite approaches. It was precisely in grave hours that the unique character of the parties to the Montreal Protocol became apparent, the spirit of collaboration and compromise. In the extraordinary meeting before us, we are not dealing with substantive matters like amendment or adjustment proposals, but we solely have to consider I will call it administrative matter, namely, as already mentioned, the representation of parties in the implementation committee. Looking back on an epoch-making achievement of this institution, I call on all distinguished delegates to remember our unique and outstanding approach, really outstanding among all other MEAs, which has always enabled us to finding outstanding solutions that in many cases offered innovative pathways to a future of a multilateral agreement. Overcoming challenging situations sometimes requires innovative thinking and taking new approaches and a spirit of compromise. And I hope in this spirit of goodwill and compromise, we will come to a conclusion to fulfill the purpose of this extraordinary meeting. With this, the meeting is declared open. Let us now turn to agenda item 2, the organizational matters. Is it on the screen? Yes. Yeah, I now invite the meeting to turn to the provisional agenda as set out in document UNEP/Ozone-L Pro ExMOP6/1 in accordance with Rule 13 of the Rules of Procedure for meetings of the parties. The provisional agenda for this meeting was sent to parties on 16th of March 2026, together with the meeting invitation. Before we adopt the agenda, I would like to recall that Rule 13 also provides that the provisional agenda for an extraordinary meeting shall consist only of those items proposed for consideration in the request for the holding of such an extraordinary meeting. I would also like to recall that in accordance with decision 37/21, the provisional agenda for this meeting includes only one substantive agenda item, namely the membership of the Implementation Committee for 2026. I now invite delegates to adopt the agenda as set out in document ExMOP6/1. I see no request for the floor. The agenda is so adopted. Thank you very much. This brings us to agenda item 2B on organization of work. You will see from the slide that the proposed organization of work follows the sequence of the items as presented in the agenda of the meeting. Is it on the screen? Yes, it is. As you know, the 6th extraordinary meeting of the parties is scheduled to take place in one single day, which is today. As per our usual practice, the morning session began, well, just now, and is expected, I hope, at 1 p.m. There is also a possible afternoon session, which I hope we won't need. And I hope we can work efficiently, and if we are able to finish early, the open-ended working group may be able to resume later today. Do I see any request for the floor? I don't see any. There are no questions. Thank you very much. So the organization of work is agreed as just described. Thank you. I would now like to turn to agenda item 2C on credentials of representatives. The Bureau of the 37th meeting of the parties met briefly, actually met twice, first time this morning to review the credentials, and we also had a short meeting just before the start of this ExMOP. The Bureau adopted a report on credentials. It's preliminary because we are still working on it, and I will now give the floor to the Secretariat to present. Secretariat, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rule 20 of the Rules of Procedure for meetings of the parties to the Montreal Protocol provides that pending a decision of the meeting upon the credentials, representatives shall be entitled to participate provisionally in the meeting. According to Rule 19, the officers of any meeting shall examine the credentials and submit their report to the meeting. I am pleased to report on the results of the examination by the Bureau of the credentials submitted by parties to the Montreal Protocol. As at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, 14 July 2026, 90 parties had submitted valid credentials. Credentials of 66 of those 90 parties were originals, while 24 were copies that were accepted on the understanding that originals would be submitted as soon as possible. In view of the foregoing, the Bureau would like to make the following recommendations to the meeting in line with the usual practice of the Montreal Protocol. First, that the sixth extraordinary meeting of the parties approve the credentials of the representatives of 90 of the 147 parties represented at the meeting, whose credentials have been found to be in good order. Second, to allow the 57 parties that did not submit valid credentials to participate in the discussions on the understanding that they would submit their credentials to the Secretariat as soon as possible. 3, that the meeting remind all parties attending future meetings of the parties to make their best efforts to submit credentials to the Secretariat in a timely manner, as required by the rules of procedure. And that the meeting approve the report of the Bureau on Credentials for ExMOP6, the text of which is being projected on the screen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Secretariat. Are there any questions for clarification? I don't see any request for the floor. Therefore, we can move on. And I will now move into the substantive item. I only need to flip through my script. Yeah, got it, yeah. I have been provided with a very comprehensive script by the Ozone Secretariat, and with lots of possible options, and I'm entrusted to find the right one. Thank you for indulgence. Yeah, we now move on to agenda item 3, the membership of the implementation committee. I informed you prior to the opening that informal consultations were ongoing in the Eastern European group, and I received a positive feedback, and can I now ask a representative of this group to report on their deliberation. Armenia, you want to take the floor? You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Eastern European Group convened a meeting early in the morning to address the issue of the outstanding nomination to the Implementation Committee. The very first minutes of the meeting were marked with the spirit of cooperation, mutual respect, and understanding, which further guided the elaborations throughout the meeting. There was a common understanding that the right momentum for the EEG as well as for the whole Montreal Protocol family was there to reach a common position. Following constructive deliberations, the group reached a consensus on a single candidate, Azerbaijan. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to each and every member of the Eastern European Group for their constructive spirit, flexibility, and commitment to achieving a consensus outcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Armenia, for this very positive report. So we have a candidate from the Eastern European Group, Azerbaijan, that will now be added to the list. And I now will read out. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Uzbekistan is asking for the floor. Of course, you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much, Erwin. Thank you so much. So, first of all, I would like to underline that Uzbekistan, together with the countries of Central Asia, played a constructive and facilitating role in helping the group resolve the issues that had previously been under discussion. The consensus we have reached today was made possible in part by the constructive and flexible approach demonstrated by all Central Asian countries, including Uzbekistan. With the sole objective of facilitating consensus, Uzbekistan put forward its candidacy as an alternative option. However, in the interest of unity and compromise, we subsequently withdrew our candidacy and joined the consensus in support of Azerbaijan. We believe this demonstrates that Uzbekistan and all our countries of Central Asia are constructive, responsible, and consensus-oriented members of this group. We remain fully committed to working with all delegations in a spirit of cooperation to build consensus and strengthen the effective implementation of the Montreal Protocol. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Uzbekistan. Your intervention will duly be noted in the report. So I see no further request for the floor, so I will now read out the candidates for the implementation committee to be nominated and decided upon with a view of adopting this decision in a package. We have from the African states, Kenya. We have from the Asian and Pacific states, Lebanon. Eastern European states, Azerbaijan. Latin American and Caribbean states, Ecuador. And Western European and other states, we have Norway. Are those candidates agreeable to the plenary? Yes, I see no request for the floor. Therefore, it is so decided. Congratulations to all candidates. And let me also thank the Eastern European group and really all of them for their spirit of collaboration and compromise. We have Azerbaijan. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Azerbaijan sincerely appreciates the constructive dialogue and the spirit of cooperation that enabled consensus in our group on supporting our membership to the Implementation Committee. And I am honored by the confidence placed in us. Azerbaijan will contribute actively and responsibly to the work of the Implementation Committee. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Azerbaijan. So welcome to the Implementation Committee. So we wish you also much success. And I have been informed by the Secretariat we need to break for a couple minutes to give the Implementation Committee time to select their president and vice president. So we adjourn for 10 minutes? 5 minutes. 5 minutes with a view to be back in 10 minutes. So the meeting is adjourned for 5 minutes. Don't. Distinguished delegates, please take your seats. We resume the meeting. Thank you. Yes. Distinguished delegates, I resume the meeting. Before we broke, Chile had requested the floor. Chile, you now have the floor. Apologies for this delay. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Estamos muy contentos que la plenaria, por aclamación, haya elegido a los miembros o a los 5 miembros del comité de implementación que faltaban, y obviamente saludamos a la futura presidente del comité. Queremos hacer una intervención con relación al procedimiento que se ha seguido en esta reunión extraordinaria, debido a que creemos que hay una inconsistencia en el procedimiento por el cual se adoptaron o no se adoptaron las credenciales para esta reunión extraordinaria. Como bien dicen las reglas de procedimiento, la decisión del informe de las credenciales debe ser adoptada por la reunión extraordinaria, y eso no sucedió. Usted lo que hizo fue darle la palabra al abogado para que informara de las conclusiones del comité de credenciales, que en este caso consiste en la mesa de la reunión, pero al final de ese informe usted no adoptó o no le pidió a la plenaria que adoptara formalmente ese informe de las credenciales, algo que está en las reglas de procedimiento y que usted debió haber martillado previo a que la plenaria eligiera por aclamación a los miembros restantes del comité de implementación. La decisión que debe tomar la plenaria, previa a la recomendación del comité de credenciales, debe ser proyectada o al menos debe ser parafraseada frente a la plenaria para que ésta sepa qué está adoptando. Eso no se hizo. Y eso tiene que hacerse para que sea válido formalmente. Igualmente, el informe que va a ser contenida en la decisión de la reunión extraordinaria debe ser publicada para que la plenaria sepa quiénes tienen sus credenciales en orden y quiénes no. Y eso también tiene que suceder. No quiero que esto impacte el resultado de la reunión extraordinaria, pero creo que también debemos ser nosotros muy respetuosos de seguir al pie de la letra lo que señalan las reglas de procedimiento del Protocolo de Montreal. Muy amable, muchas gracias.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chile, for this information. Indeed, I forgot to gavel. We can project, of course, the proposed decision on credentials. I think it was already projected on the screen. Apologies for not gaveling. Formal mistake. But before I do that, and yeah, we have the recommendation on screen. I have Iran requesting the floor. Iran, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, the President. While congratulating the new members of the INCOM and also wishing them a successful career, I would like to request the Secretary to brief us about the membership of the INCOM. So how many goes out and how many comes every year, and also whether it, since a chairperson is elected from the members, so whether from the country who selected as a chairman will be 2 persons there or just 1 person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Iran. Before I reply to Iran, I have the United States of America. US, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, thank you, President. So just to say, I think our colleague from Chile has, I think, raised a valid procedural issue. Just to say, and we're now looking at the recommendation here, and I was kind of trying to remember how we do this in the past and historically. This particular recommendation or decision of the body, it's not typically given a decision number historically. Maybe we could ask the president or the chair to just remind us. But I think procedurally, Chile is correct. I think the way we reflect this decision may be slightly different than how we reflect other ones. Nevertheless, Chile is right procedurally in terms of how we move forward. Just to say, as I'm looking at the recommendation, just to be clear, we are on the second paragraph. We are saying that these countries can participate specifically in the discussions that are taking place in the meeting. So in the debate, in the discussions themselves is our understanding of what that means, just to be clear. With that, we're comfortable with this moving forward. And then if there is if the Secretariat maybe could just remind us of how, I think we just historically reflect this in the meeting report rather than listing it as like a decision, ExMOP6 / whatever. But it would be useful to maybe just have a reminder of how we usually reflect that in the outcomes of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, United States. So now turning to the language just projected, the recommendation. So it will go in, I look to the Secretariat, it will go into the report of the meeting. Yeah. Senior Legal Officer, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you to the distinguished delegates of Chile and the United States for their questions and comments. Indeed, the report of the Bureau on Credentials, according to the practice of the Montreal Protocol, is reflected in the meeting report in a paragraph, so it's not part of a number decision. However, the election itself of members of the committee is reflected in a decision that so far has not been adopted, and it's going to be adopted. Thank you.
Good, and now, yeah, to satisfy Chile, we will gavel this report. I see. United States.
Yeah, thank you, and sorry to come back, but there is one. So I think we've explained to you our understanding of what paragraph 2 means. Just on paragraph 3, to be honest with you, we find it a little bit strange that we're urging parties to make their best efforts to follow our agreed rules rather than just saying you should follow the rules. So we would suggest striking the words make their best efforts to. So the last one could read, to urge all parties attending future meetings of the parties to submit credentials to the Secretariat as required under Rule 18 of the Rules of Procedure. Otherwise, this almost sounds like we're softening our agreed rules. So with that, and with my prior comments on our understanding of the second paragraph, we're happy to move this forward, but we would like to strike that somewhat unorthodox qualifier. I think it does get back to Chile's point. I think normally this just gets reflected in the meeting report and we don't look at the details of exactly what's being said. But if in fact we are going to affirmatively adopt this exact language, then I think we would want that language struck and it to be on our understanding of what paragraph 2 means. Thank you.
Thank you much. United States, I have Chile. Again, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think you don't only need to gavel. Humbly, you need to post the question to plenary to adopt formally the report on credentials. And as I was listening to the United States, normally the report on credentials is a factual report. It's not really a recommendation, but we can go along with what the legal advisor suggested or what the Bureau suggested for this time around. But normally we like a factual report on who has valid credentials and who has not. So you have to post the question. Thank you.
Thank you much, Chile. So could the Secretariat again project the proposed language? So do parties agree with this text as amended by the United States to delete okay, the change has been introduced. So do parties agree with this text? It is so decided. So we now take up again item, this is 3, correct? Yes. Yeah, the members of the committee, of the implementation committee, have agreed on their president and vice president. So congratulations. The text of the whole decision is being projected on the screen. Paragraph 2 was completed after the election of the 5 members of the implementation committee. And paragraph 3 was completed after we heard back from the committee on the results of the elections of the president and the vice president. In addition to these paragraphs, the draft decision also includes paragraph 1, which contains standard language noting with appreciation the work carried out by the committee in 2025. I hope this also explains the constitution of the whole committee as just requested by Iran, so this might help. If you have further question on the procedure, I would refer to a bilateral with the Secretariat. I think Pablo could give you additional information. I would like to propose to adopt this decision with the text projected on the screen. Do we have any request for the floor? Seeing no request for the floor, it is so adopted. Yeah, distinguished delegates, we move now to item 4 on the adoption of the report of the meeting. This extraordinary meeting has taken place over a single day, 1 hour something. And so it is not possible to present a draft report for adoption at this time. So I would therefore like to propose that ExMOP6 authorize the Secretariat to complete the report under my guidance. If there is no request for the floor, no objection, then I take this proposal as agreed. So we will prepare the report. And this brings us to the closure of the meeting. Yeah, thank you, delegates, for the hard work. In particular, I again thank the Eastern European Group for all their efforts in the spirit of collaboration and compromise, underscored double, triple. Yeah, we close this meeting and the work will now continue for the rest of the week with the 48th meeting of the Open-Ended Working Group. So I wish all parties success during the discussions. We have still important items before us and a couple of days ahead. So I wish you a successful meeting. Thank you very much. And I now okay, apologies. No problem. Yes, with this, I declare the meeting closed. Okay. For information, we break for 10 minutes and then we reconvene the OEWG.
Good afternoon, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. We're not able to start with continue with agenda item 4 because we do not have the TEEP members in the room at this stage. So with your indulgence, we would like to just start with agenda item 6, which is on ensuring the viability of the Montreal Protocol. And we will start in about 5 minutes to give people time to get to their relevant parts of their briefs and get ready for that particular discussion. So we'll start agenda item 6 in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, parties. Would like to thank you so much for your understanding, and we are now ready to start with agenda item 6. I now invite parties to turn to agenda item 6 on ensuring the viability of Montreal Protocol operations. MOP 37 through decision 37-7 requested the Zone Secretariat to prepare a report for consideration by the OEG 48 on the options for making effective and efficient changes with associated cost estimates to the timing of Ozone Secretariat support for and length of MOP meetings and meetings of the open-ended working group, the implementation committee, and the assessment panels, and the timing of replenishment decisions. Documents 48/4 and 48/4/Ed1, which are available on the meeting portal, respond to this request. The floor is now open for a discussion on this item. I see on my list, United States. US, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Co-Chair, and apologies, we may be slightly confused procedurally with where we are. We thought we were going back to the TEEP report, but has the Secretariat presented their paper to the committee? I guess we would have expected the Secretariat to at least give us a brief synopsis of that to kick off the discussion, but again, I was sort of bouncing in and out of the room, so I may have missed something here, but just to do a quick process check on that, if they have not presented, just to say I think we perhaps would welcome a brief introduction of the paper and would come back with our intervention after that. But again, I may have missed part of this discussion, so it's just a question of process on whether the Secretariat might give us a brief summary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, US.